I wrote the song about Betty and Barney Hill, which we recorded, and I have to say, I'm trying not to sound arrogant, but I think it's probably the best UFO alien abduction song ever written.
You put some qualifiers in there.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I'll say this. It's definitely the best country alien UFO abduction song ever written. Yeah. But I think it might be just the best UFO abduction song ever written. I don't know what you think, but...
I was just waiting for it. It's just the best song ever written.
Ever.
Yeah.
What, have you heard a better alien UFO abduction song?
Yeah, when you give it a couple of qualifiers, I can't give you a better, like, country UFO abduction song. I
think we were just watching you the whole time again. I forgot to hit auto switch. Well, you saw Dave's reaction.
Yeah.
So it's a very...
I'm hard pressed to think of a better one.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I got to tweak something. I'm just making sure this podcast goes live. I'll be so mad if this podcast doesn't go live. So anyway.
I don't think it's arrogant because the tone that I'm getting from you is more like you're pleased with what you put out. Like, I was watching the Great British Baking Show last night, and one of the contestants said, "That's as good as I can do." And they felt good about how they did.
Well, I'll go a step further and say I think it's better than anyone else could do. I mean, until somebody sends me a version of an alien UFO abduction song that's better than the one that I wrote,
you're going to stick the flag in the ground. Yeah.
Who's even close? I mean, you could say the same thing about, Vanilla Ice and the Ninja Turtles rap. I mean, no one else has written a better
for a Ninja Turtle
rap song. And if you have, we'd like to hear it. Bring it on. So anyway, I wrote the song.
Yeah.
And somebody sent me an article. It's so weird. I can't even say it.
Top 5 country.
No. It's even stranger than that. So we had this president in this country. His name was Barack Obama. I don't know if you remember this guy.
That, yeah.
When he finished his presidency, he started a media production company called Higher Ground Productions.
I don't think I realized that.
No, yeah, he's partnered with Netflix on a bunch of things. They've done a series of shows, just kind of odd things, podcasts, nothing that great, to be honest. I mean, they gave him an award, but just because, like, oh, he narrated something about the parks, and they're like, it's the best narration we've ever heard, Mr. Anyway, I don't want to say anything too bad about him because I might need him. So the point is, this article somebody sent me was Netflix and Higher Ground have partnered with a new script that's supposed to be coming out as a film, probably starting to work on this year and coming out next year, called White Mountain.
Okay.
And it's about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction story. And if you look at the article, it's like 3 producers to the movie. It's Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and a woman named Tanya Davis.
Oh, I'm not familiar with her. Yeah.
When you're on a movie, when you have executive producer, that just means like you're a famous person who's connecting another person. Yeah. Like you don't do as much. It's not as hands-on.
I've heard the line of, I'll give you an EP credit. And it doesn't sound like there's a lot of legwork involved in being...
Yeah. You're just like, well, I'm friends with Fred Durst and you want him on your track. Okay, I'll give him a call and you got to give me this shout out in your credits, you know? Didn't do a lot. Producer credit, though, is like, I'm hands-in.
Yeah,
like
I have CEO of the project.
I'm really interested in making sure this project is a success. And Barack Obama that's what he's... Of all the things that man could be doing with his time right now, what he's doing is making a film about Betty and Barney Hill. And back to my point about great works of art regarding alien abduction stories. Yeah. It just struck me as very strange that there are 2 men on this planet who seem to be so obsessed with the Betty and Barney Hill story that they would commit a significant amount of their time and resources to creating art to tell that story. One of those men is me. The other man is our former president, Barack Obama.
Well,
I mean, I'm really glad that he's doing
elite
it. But
company you're in,
Well, that's back to the simulation hypothesis. Like, is that not a little strange?
It's real strange. Yeah.
I mean, of all the films that guy could make, why is he making that film?
The Netflix thing I remember seeing him do that came across my feed or whatever was some kind of a documentary about the world, and it probably had something to do with conservation, which that makes sense to me, right? If you're like retired Democratic president in 2023.
It's an easy gig, and it lines up with your policies and everything that you would stand for.
Something like that is not a big reach, but you're right. I would not have guessed a UFO abduction story.
I'm trying to contact the production company. I'm like, well, they have to use my song in the soundtrack. There's no other Betty and Barney Hill song that's worth using.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that if they hear it, they'll go, oh, wow, that's exactly what our movie's about.
That's the one we want. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Things like that happen, and you just think, really? Is that just organic? That just happened? Me and Obama. I mean, I don't like most of his policies. Right, I don't particularly like him as a politician, but by God, if he's going to talk about UFOs and aliens, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,